Hey, hey,
How's it
welcome back.
going? I had another screen blaring in my ears there. I'm happy to be back.
I'm glad that you're back.
I,
It was
I'm
fun to
representing
host
my camp.
questions last week while you were at camp. But I want you to tell everybody about your camp.
Yes, yes. Okay, so it's called Camp Gilbert. I've got a tie-dye shirt on right now, so it's a little harder to see. It says until there's a cure. It is a camp for kiddos with type 1 diabetes, and it's here in South Dakota. And it just like warms my heart. I've been volunteering for 15 years now. I don't have diabetes. That is like the natural first question that people have. Um, I actually
My
the
first
camp
question
that it
is
was
whether like all of those like for 15 years straight, or are there breaks in that 15 years?
the only breaks were COVID, and I
Okay.
helped run the virtual camp.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
it
That's
was
amazing.
super fun, super
Huh.
fun.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, it's been a challenging 15 years. Like as you can imagine, with tech in our world,
Oh
like tech
man. Yeah.
in
In the
diabetes
camping world.
management has
Yeah.
been insane. I mean, we used to finger poke every camper every few hours, and at midnight we'd go around and do what we call night rounds, and it took 3 4 hours to get all
Oh
of
my
camp
gosh.
tested and regulated. And now we do the same thing, but instead of finger pokes, they've got something called a CGM, which is a continuous glucose monitor. And actually, like, we're working with an organization, and for the first time this year we'd use, so Dexcom is a common
Mhm.
CGM, a common CGM, and they have an API. And so funny enough, like,
Oh, that's so cool.
and so we used an organization that utilizes their API to do like this whole monitor system, and it was just really cool. But as you can tell, like my voice is still coming back because there's all sorts of camp yelling, and I'm so
Yeah.
tired all the time. I gotta catch up on sleep. Oh my gosh, because we do those night rounds, and it's just pure chaos, but it's so much fun. Glad to be back. Glad to be back. Like doing this. I'm glad that you took it away last
Okay,
week.
do counselors have nicknames? Because when I was a counselor at a camp for a summer, we all had nicknames. So I'm curious if you have a camp nickname.
It's so funny that you say that. I didn't realize counselors had nicknames. And then I was in LA for something else a couple weeks ago, and I met other camp counselors, and they had nicknames. And they're like,
Oh
"Oh
yeah,
no, we protect our name to the death." And
yeah,
like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
wild to
yeah.
me.
No, I was Bam Bam,
That's crazy.
and I had a thing on top of my head with a little, like I had longer hair, so I'd like put it up in a pineapple, and then I'd have like a little bone thing. Go right there. It was awesome. It was so fun.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. No, I mean maybe it's just because South Dakota's so small.
yeah, yeah.
Like we just it's not something because these kiddos see us year after year, so they're gonna find out who we are.
Well, it wasn't. I mean, maybe it was partially for that, but mostly it was just like it was just more fun. But okay, AI has had a crazy week while you've been
Yeah.
away. So last week, those of you that hopped in and asked questions, thank you so much. That was
Yes. Thank you.
great. We had so many questions. We did not even get close to getting through all the ones that I had gathered before we even talked about it. And so it was great. We had a lot, and the theme that came through is that there is just widespread curiosity, concern, maybe. I don't know. Like it's a thing. There's an energy about AI that is almost everywhere I go, where people are just wondering, like, what is it? What can it do? Is it scary? How scary is it? And it feels like the needle just keeps moving on. Yes, elements of it are scary, and yes, is very useful, and that's the right way to think about it. So,
Yes, yes.
um,
I feel like
this
I
was
had that exact same conversation like 2 months ago too, right? Like, yes, elements are scary.
yeah,
Yes, we still need it. So
yeah.
it's crazy that like among all of the change and all that chaos, like it's still going to be the
Right.
same comments.
The questions people are asking, and one of the things I'm excited about is that the questions are getting more specific around organizational use,
Oh
and
gosh.
that is the thing I care about the most. How do organizations? Oh, your microphone is hitting your keys or something. Oh, there you go. Okay, you're on mute.
So
Um,
sorry. My
that's fine.
headphones.
The questions really are starting to focus on how do we get a policy together? How do we help our leaders? How do we help, our board understand the opportunity here? How do we collectively use it? There's a lot more. How do we play with AI rather than just how can I use it? And that
Okay.
trend is so important. That's almost all I care about in the work that I do is how do organizations use it. So I feel happy about that too. So yeah,
That's
this week
exciting.
this week I was just I was in Gemini, which I do use almost daily, and I think it was you actually. I went to just like you do in a Google document, you can just say at somebody and then it'll like pull them up. And I
Oh,
did
yeah.
that and it popped up a magic screen that I've never seen before. And that is what we're going to talk about today because I have seen zero documentation. I have seen zero people talking about this, except I put something on LinkedIn. This is wild. It is just the thing that we've been waiting for all along. And it's basically full scale integration into your daily workflow on a number of levels. So that is what I am so excited about. Hi, Megan. So excited to see you. By the way, it turns out I've been saying Megan's name wrong this whole time. So I
What's
did find that
Megan?
out. It's Megan. It's not Megan. So Megan, welcome.
Getting his locks retwisted. I love that.
Oh, awesome. Uh, yeah, I totally know the office car thing. So thanks for tuning in. Great to see you. Um, anyway, so that was wild, and I want to just get into the magic menu here because people need to see what they can do with it. So that's where we're headed for today's show. And without further ado, unless you have a do to further,
I've never heard it said like that. That really
I
threw me
haven't
off.
ever said it
Did you
before.
watch me like
I did. I did. I watched. Yeah, I like the question. Unless you have a do to further. Anyway,
we're gonna have to use that more. I don't think I
yeah,
have
I
any
will
dues
be
to
returning
further.
to that frequently. I absolutely will be returning to that. Okay, without further ado, here is the Gemini. I don't even know what we call this menu. Here's the top secret, super secret because they don't tell anybody about it. Secret.
I looked to see if I could find some
Yeah.
like in the nonprofit blog on
No.
Gemini. I mean, we're subscribed to their updates.
Yeah.
Like they didn't tell us about it.
No. I don't. I actually, for a half minute, it went away, and I was like, "Did they accidentally release this and then pull it back?" But no, I don't think that's what's going on. So that
That's
is, yeah.
awesome.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to hop in
Yeah,
and
let's do
talk
it.
about it. If anybody from Google does know what this is called, please do let us know. So here's Gemini. You should all be
Whoop, whoop.
familiar with it, and you know where it is,
Oops, sorry.
gemini.google.com. And the new magic menu is you just go to the chat space and you type at. And this is, so I do, one thing to say, I do have alpha enabled. Alpha is pre-beta in software releases, which means that this is very cutting edge, brand new, and they don't release it to everybody all at once. So it might be that I'm seeing this because I've turned on alpha for Gemini. So could be that. But you can see here it extends your Gemini workspace so that you can interact with Google Calendar, Google Keep. I don't know almost anybody that uses Google Keep, but it is an interesting app. Google Tasks, Gmail, Google Docs, Google Drive, and Google Workspace in general. So today what we want to do is go through and show you the few things I've already seen that it can do that are really the things I've been wanting for it to do for a long time. And so I don't know how to do this without really showing people what's in my calendar. And okay, it's not an alpha only feature. Cool. Thanks. Wanting to show, like, I'm going to have to show people a little bit what's in my inbox, or I can't really show anything here. So we'll do that. I've already tested it. I think that that'll be fine. And I think that we should just start with tasks, then go to
Yeah.
calendar, and then maybe Gmail after that. So
I did
that's kinda
figure
what
out
I'm
a
thinking.
Gmail one where I can like hide names
Oh, really?
and still
Okay.
demo. Yes, I had to perfect my prompt a little bit and test it out, but that way we could actually demo it and it could show you almost everything without being like, wait, what?
Yeah. So this is so new that I have not had a chance to go in and really play around with what you can do in terms of planning. But I want to close out today with talking about what it could look like just in a couple of scenarios, like for a volunteer manager, for a grants manager, or even a program director at a foundation. I want to just take a look at some of the things that it might be able to do. And some of that's discovery, and I don't know what it can do. Some of that is stuff that I've already tried and it can do it. Okay, so we're going to start with tasks, right? So to make a task, you can just say, what is it? TPS. No, I want to do something different. Send volunteers a reminder next Tuesday. And then at tasks. I think that, so now what it's doing is it's going in and it's thinking about this. This was very easy because it just did it really quickly. And so if I open Google Tasks and this in particular, it will go show me that. So I just stopped sharing instead of switching my screen for that, but let's just pop back in there. Okay, so you can see this got a task right here now. And it just creates it like that. It's really straightforward.
Very
That's a
literal.
really simple example. Yeah, but it is very literal. Yeah, it is. Okay.
It said create a reminder for volunteers, and it said
there
volunteers.
It is. Yeah. Okay, so now one of the questions I have not answered on this is, can it go and update that, right? Can it just create or can it also update? So let's say for the last task, you know, I can speak faster than I can type. Let's see if this will work. For the last task, update the name so that it says send email to volunteers in the task. All right, so that's like my little dictation thing.
I was gonna say, you're gonna want to explain to people what that is.
Yeah, so that's Mac Whisper, and I've got Dan Kershaw, of course, to thank for that, and the good folks over at AI Build Labs. And
that Whisper like WISPR.
No, it's just, I think it's Mac Whisper. And do not buy the one on the App Store. Actually go and find the one that is online because it's a different version. I've updated the task to send emails to volunteers. Let's see if that actually worked. I'm surprised if it did. Send email to volunteers.
Let's go.
Yes. Okay. All right.
I thought there was no chance that was
me either. I know that's where this stuff always breaks down, right? Okay, so next up, what was that? Move it to Friday. Let's see if it's just holding context for that. All right. Okay, so we're finally seeing some thinking on this. This is the thing that I think is really cool, is that it shows all of the thinking behind the scenes on that. So okay, now it's Friday.
Your tasks.
Oh, what? Okay.
I thought you were gonna jump right back over, so I was
no. Okay, so here's what happened. I said move it to Friday, and then it says show thinking, and now it's got like, it just shows shifting focus reminders, right? So it's holding that one. So that is tasks. I think there's a lot more that it could do on that. Before we break and go to calendar, I was thinking about something like create a series of tasks for me to complete a simple project of onboarding Sami over the next 2 weeks.
Onboarding.
Yeah, I mean, my spelling's atrocious as always.
Onboarding.
How we do it in Montana, we onboarding people. Speaking of Montana, someday I need to tell you about the first time I ever went baling hay. It was like such a Montana thing you should know how to do, and I absolutely did not. Okay, cool. So it created this. All right, I would love for it to give me a little bit of input before it does that. So let's try that. Create a let's plan this out.
You almost want it to do like what it does for deep research, where it's like, here's my plan. Do you agree?
We can work
Whoa.
on it. All right. So let's see this. Let's see, can we create a plan and work on it a little bit? Oh, wait, what? It opened it. All right.
Oh.
What is this? I've not used Google Keep, so I have no idea what this is.
Click it. I tried to play in Google Keep the other day, and it kind of drove me nuts. So I got out of it.
All right. What is this? What? Okay. Anybody that knows Google Keep,
I was like, I'm gonna do some quick research.
needs to hop in and tell us what we don't know about what are we seeing here. This is great. Okay,
it's just notes. It's just like, why do they have Keep and Notebook LM though?
No, this is definitely not Notebook LM's not interactive. This is like Notion. This is second braining, right? So okay, everybody, clearly we need to spend more time in Google Keep.
Maybe that could be next week's episode.
Right. But I think this is where you could do this kind of planning. Anyway, the overall point here is that you can actually work with tasks that way, where you can think more holistically about it and then batch create very quickly, and maybe you don't even want to. So those tasks, this was just a test. All right. I'm sorry that I'm taking all of the time to play right now, by the way. No. I forgot. You have to mention the thing you want it to do, or it's going to decide for you.
But I like that it'll still, I guess in some ways I like that it'll still do it, but in other ways it's like, what if you don't want it to and it starts creating stuff?
Right. Yeah. I think that's why we're going to see how this works. Yeah. Dan's saying that Keep is like Evernote. Remove the
what would we do without Dan?
I don't know. Created. Okay. All right. Dan, if you want to hop on, we are very happy to have you hop on, by the way. So just send us a thumbs up anytime. Okay. So now we want it to, hey, Shannon.
Hi, Shannon.
Welcome.
We're never late.
This week is wild.
Queen is never late. Everybody else is simply early.
Okay. Now it's showing thinking is going to go in. I'm really curious how many of the tasks it's going to know to remove. I just want to back up for a second and say, as an ADD person who has never in my life had a task list work for me, because they don't work for my brain. And I know that sounds like a cop-out to some people, but I promise you, I'm not making this up. This is the kind of thing I have always needed. Send an email. Oh yeah, this is it. Yes, delete that. Delete that.
Oh, this is exactly what we wanted.
All tasks created today. So at some point we should talk about this, but there's a massive difference between project managing, which is rear facing, project emergence, which is forward facing. And we've never had the tools to do project emergence, but that's actually how projects work. And so the option to start thinking about projects that way, I think, is very interesting. So, it is very fine to batch create. It does not seem happy to batch delete. So I will go in and do that later.
But I do appreciate that it's like, do you want to do that? I appreciate that I won't just do the things.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, but it did just go do the things, like all of these right here. Yeah, exactly. So, okay, we should move on to calendar.
It did it. Look.
Wait, what?
Scroll back up.
Yeah.
A little more. It says, do you want to go ahead and create that?
Oh, yes, it does say that. And let's see this right here. They are not in there. Okay, I take it all back, Gemini. Sorry. Cool. Okay. So that's very cool. That's wild. Very cool. There's so much more we could do on tasks. If you just joined in, so Shannon, I know you've just hopped in. we're talking about this magic thing that has appeared in Google Gemini, where you just hit the @ sign, and now all of these integrations are possible, and they're massively different than what I have been seeing in the, the Drive, the Google Docs, the calendar stuff, and even the email stuff in like ChatGPT or in Anthropic, which can read but can't really interact. This is really an interactive experience, which is really crazy. So, okay, to you to talk through calendars now.
I'm gonna go through email, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. No. Do emails. That's fine. That's great.
I was just one thing for us to explore is why you need to at all, unless there's confusion about what it could be, because here, I'll just show you what I'm talking about. Sorry. Because I was this is what we were looking at before, Tim. Oh, am I sharing the right window? I hope so. Okay, so you see my wonderful Gemini here. And I'm going to say, like, as a demo for the public, which is what I needed to do so it won't show all my things, like people and things. It does use a couple of acronyms that it doesn't realize might refer.
Okay, yeah.
But most people won't know what that is. If I just hit this, so I'm not adding my email, I'm not anything like that, it will still search.
Okay, so could you switch your system settings in Gemini to light, just because it's going to be easier to read?
Yep.
Thank you. All right.
1 second.
Yeah, cool.
It did not follow my instructions from earlier. But the nice part is...
Of course not.
It did it last time.
I know.
So here's one that I did. I did actually it over here. And this is where you can see, like, oh, this individual, organization name and company name. So it did hide some things here. But what I love is, like, I have about 20 emails in the human stack, or like in my email here. But like I said earlier, we subscribe to the Google updates. You and I have a lot of emails back and forth that some of them won't need my attention because we've already talked about them. And so literally being able to say, like, which emails need my attention, when I ask that without the clarifier of which ones need my without the hide the stuff for the public kind of deal, it gave me these.
By the way, the yawn in the middle of that was just the cherry on the sundae.
Look,
like, I know you're tired. It's just
sorry.
No, don't be. I'm not. It is like so awesome. Like, keep going. It was great.
I tried to play it off so
I know,
bad too.
And the polite,
like, I'm so tired.
The polite co-host would have just let it go, but of course you've got me, and I'm like,
Tim, everybody. Tim's the worst. I'm so tired.
Like, you're at camp, and I'm like laughing about it. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
Just saving kids' lives with diabetes. It's fine, Tim. Anyway. One thing that I can't show you the full because it'll have names and things in here, but I didn't in here. I did not actually like Gmail.
Yeah.
And it did start showing me my emails. So what I was confused about was, like, in what world do I need to, like, add it? Like, I just don't understand like, that one's actually really confusing me.
Oh, I've got an answer.
But what I love about that,
but go ahead. Well,
go ahead.
Okay, here's the thing.
I was like, do that while I type something else in here.
Here's my early thoughts on that. And again, like, we're just playing with this for like this. I found this 2 days ago, so we're just like figuring it out. And Dan probably already knows how to do it. But if you,
thanks, Megan.
If you. I totally, anybody that wants to call me out for being a terrible co-host, I am up for that. I totally agree with you. So there we go on that. No, so there are times that you just want to throw it to to Gemini to think through. Like, here's a bunch of stuff, figure out which thing I need, right? And the best way to do it. So I didn't know about Keep, but actually Keep is a better way to think about, here's how to structure this before we turn it into tasks, right? because it showed me 10 tasks. I thought it had created them, but it didn't. Showed me those 10 tasks. Keep is the place that I could just like arrange it, figure it out, and then send it in, right? If I just wanted to be like, I only want to work with at keep, I'd have to say that, and then it's my call, not theirs. It's like determinative versus generative, basically.
Oh, yeah. See, and that's where like I think people get really nervous about generative AI, but because of the nerves about generative AI, they actually miss so much. I mean, we were just having this conversation yesterday with somebody. They miss so much of the opportunity for determinative AI or like queryable, like using AI to query your things better. That's one of the things that this Google Gemini interface has just massive amounts of advantage over. Is I can ask it, and I've got a demo here for a little bit later, which is basically like, I need to write a grant on this topic. What all do we have on it?
Exactly. Right.
Everything. Okay, this is also really cool though. So this one, I was like, okay, so I know what it can do in Gmail. Can it also kind of do both? So what it didn't do was actually create this in Gmail. But what it did do was I asked it while you were chatting. I was like, hey, can you prep an email to Tim for me? I want to send him a draft email that'll go to our board with an update / overview on our volunteer handbook, something that I know we have for the Impact Me Foundation. So then it drafted that email like, hey, Tim, put together a draft overview of the handbook, yada, yada. Here's the board update. Here's all the things that we would put in here. Love all of that. I also think
really cool.
I can't decide.
But this is in Canvas, I can't decide, right?
This is in Canvas.
Shorten it, you
so now here's my next question.
It, all that kind of stuff. Okay.
Can you put it in, or wait, can you send to Tim at Gmail? Whoa. Now it's not there. Maybe because I'm in Canvas?
No, I did find that out. In Canvas, it disappears.
Oh, okay.
So take it, like unclick Canvas.
Oh, I didn't even realize that was clicked. Okay,
now there it is.
Let's see if it can find you.
I'm really curious about that.
Huh. Let me try.
Okay. See if it can create a draft.
To Tim for me in my. Let's see. I wonder if it can. Oh, certainly. Board memo. Tone sassy. I'll figure out the rest later. Board memo. Let's get this show on the road. Seriously, folks, about that later.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't think it actually did. No.
But, so this isn't in Canvas though, right? Okay.
No,
so
it's not in Canvas.
Put that in my drafts folder. Just try it. Wait, what?
Let me stop share for just a second
and
see.
And Megan just asked a great question. So I'm going to pull that question up and we can start looking at that.
Oh, and I have that.
Okay.
Oh. It did not. It did not.
All right. So the email can read, it can't write. So tasks can read and write and update. Keep can obviously read, write, update. I think that's pretty clear. Email can read and draft, but not actually put it in. That's a little bit disappointing. I have to be honest. Like not like that's not super helpful. But I'm guessing, like, again, this came out 2 days ago or something. Like, give it a minute. And maybe that's not why they're talking a lot about it, because they've got more coming. Okay, Megan said, on the grant topic, what do we have on it? That's timely. Can you repeat what space you were asking that? Is that just general question in Gemini? And this would be a great place, I think, for Workspace and Drive. So if we want to hop in and
Oh, I'm already on
Okay,
there,
great.
brother.
So we've got, we usually use Impact Me Foundation for this kind of a thing. So, so yeah, what are you working on here?
So I put in, I want to write a purpose statement for a grant in human-centered tech for the Impact Me Foundation. Can you compile the relevant information from, and I put the Google Drive because I have an example of where I added the workspace. So I could pull over to that if this one, but I want to see if we get something similar or different based on tagging Google Drive versus workspace.
Yep.
So she's thinking, however, I cannot direct, that is wild.
What did it say?
That it would say that. I can help you draft a purpose statement for your grant application for the Impact Me Foundation. However, I cannot directly access your Google
Okay,
Drive.
we know that's not true. So this is where it's just weird, but
luckily, I do have an example where when I said the workspace, it's the exact same wording, just said at workspace instead of Google Drive. Here's a draft purpose statement for your grant application focusing on human-centered technology. And then it says this purpose statement outlines our commitment to advancing human well-being and societal equity through the development and deployment of human-centered tech. And it pulled in, but it did pull it in Canvas, which I can hit the button that says try again without Canvas. We can see what that does. But it just gave us, I can read it really quick because it's really short. Our project aims to leverage innovative tech, solutions to address critical community needs, ensuring that advancements in the digital sphere are designed with a primary focus on human dignity, accessibility, and empowerment. We propose to foster ethical technology practices that amplify human capabilities, bridge digital divides, and promote inclusive participation, particularly for underserved and marginalized populations. By integrating rigorous human-centered design principles, our work will ensure that tech serves as a catalyst for positive social change, creating more just, equitable, and resilient communities. All the things that we have designed Impact Me to be. So it did do it. It's wild that to say we can't access the Google Drive, but then having built this one.
No. Okay, check this out. Let me share my screen. This is just wild. No. So again, I feel like one thing.
I love doing this exploration.
I know. It is a wild way to go. One of the one thing to keep in mind here is that how you are asking things in Gemini is really critical. It is not as intuitive as any of the other LLMs, right? So it's a very linear thinker is the way that I think of it. So I said, what's the latest on the Impact Me Foundation grants from at Google Drive? And then it shows thinking here. The thinking on it is kind of interesting. But then in here, it says, based on the documents in Google Drive, the latest on Impact Me Foundation, high engagement, low iteration, lack of strategy and governance, human touch dilemma, resource skill gaps, hidden. So it is finding things and it is sourcing where it's finding those. This looks like a deep research.
It seems to have only referred to the window.
I think that I'm wondering, I don't, excuse me, I don't know why that is.
I wonder, can you, yeah, there you go.
Impact Me.
Can you add a specific folder?
So can you go find the folder that I should grab the link and drop it in the background, or just go ask it? Because I think that's right. Impact Me folder for this. Oh, thank you for reminding me. LLM does stand for large language model. ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini. Those are LLMs.
Here is your link, sir.
All right.
It's Impact Me Foundation.
Did I spell it wrong? Folder. Probably.
No. Hashtag Team Live.
I do too. Okay. All right.
Oh, see, there we go.
Did it do it?
Hello from Atlanta, Georgia. Well, hello. Okay, but look at what it's showing you. The 2020. So that's how I name things. So that's how you know that it's something I made. That's so cool. Provides the most current information on the strategic direction.
All right. So yeah, we're asking what's in this folder.
I feel like you skipped over all the cool things that it was just showing you, though. Makes
What?
me sad.
Oh, fetching folder. Okay, I'm getting excited here. This is actually going to work.
Okay, but scroll up. It did already work.
What do you mean?
Go. There you go. Look at all this stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. Oh, okay. Never mind. Okay.
There you go.
All right.
What are you doing? It already worked.
The eagle has landed. I thought that was the stuff from before. Okay.
I'm like, no, it's not.
Okay, is it?
But look at that.
Oh,
I do think it's still only pulling
it's-
the one board
okay.
report, though, which I think
just
is hilarious.
found the one board report. Close enough. Here, we've got this.
Okay,
Yeah,
now let's see.
like
Is
sources,
it pulling all the same things?
Workflow
notes?
Oh yeah, this is.
Nope. Now it's just pulling from all of your drive.
Questions on invoicing senior consulting. Perfect. Great. Okay. So folks, it is definitely doing some thinking here. It is definitely that is the best. That is the best.
That's wild.
That is wild. Welcome to the live show. So, okay.
I love this so much.
Applications on this. So
definitely the grant purpose statement
so.
piece.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I think that you have to just be so precise and focused on what you want. And then I don't know how to explain this, but there's something about just not giving up and just trying prompts in multiple different ways. And if that's not working, ask it. What are 5 different ways to ask this question to you so that you do the right thing, right? Yeah. And I feel like that's, if I have something to offer the world, it is that's the way I think, and not everybody does. And what I'm finding is that people need to learn that part of how I think. I think it's more intuitive to you as well. So this is huge. And for those joining late, what we're talking about is this new like secret menu in Gemini that just showed up. If you hit the @ sign, now you've got access to all of these different tools. This is radically different than what you are finding in some of the other integrations on like Claude and ChatGPT.
Just crazy. I'm trying it with a custom gem over here.
Oh.
Do you want to see really quick?
I mean, yes. And there's so much to say about gems because now you can just use gems in a document and it literally works now. It is crazy.
I just need to be able to share gems with you.
I know. It is
like they need to get to that point because then it is so
It is the last thing. It is the last thing. I agree.
It just drives me nuts. Okay, so I had asked, we made that Impact Me Social Copy Creator way back when we did gems. So I said, find information in the Impact Me Foundation folder in the Google Drive to create a handbook volunteer social media posts. And then it was like, hello, here's who I am, which is funny because this is I know. I love when we have our bots talk to us.
Yeah, right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So then it did actually ask a couple questions, which this is one of my favorites. This is actually what can frustrate people about the use of AI the way we do it, is the idea that like there's still more work to be done. It doesn't just get it done for you, which is the whole point. We keep the human in the tech. So now I would just say, go ahead and decide, just so that way we can get past that. But it had asked, are there specific key messages? Is there an overall tone, etc.? So then I was like, all right, you go ahead and decide. It gave me all of the primary goals, key messages, etc. And now it did give me, I saw Dan's comment. Sorry, but it did give me like, okay, so here's a LinkedIn post. Are you ready to volunteer? Download the handbook today, which I love. I love that it actually guided it toward each channel too. So like LinkedIn is more optimized to have things like a download this PDF here, like get involved. Whereas Instagram, it's actually got like a link in bio for the handbook journey. Like it actually is like reading the world context there too, which is pretty awesome. So yeah.
Okay. I think we're going to call it there. Thank you so much, everybody who joins. Thank you so much. It is so great to be joined from Atlanta, and all over the US and Canada and the world. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you here next week. We do this every week. And
Yes.
the more you tell us what you need help with or are interested in, the better we can shape what we're talking about to that. So never hesitate to send us messages during the week. Say, hey, this is what I want to know. We'd love to hear from you on that. And it is great to have you back. I missed you last week. So Sami, I'm really glad that you're here.
It's good to be back.
And yeah.
Maybe I'm going to try and find any use in Gemini and keep so we can go over
I
that
think
next
that's a
week.
great
So
idea.
TBD.
Yeah, I think so. And creating a gem.
I'm going to try.
Yeah, and creating a gem. So
yeah, I think doing that again in a more in-depth way from what it's looking like, that's a big interest as well. So
all right. Until then, keep playing with AI. Let us know what you're finding, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.